thepascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits. Happy Sunday. Happy Super Bowl Sunday for a lot of y'all. Okay, I know some of you guys are very excited about this big day. Hence the reason why I wanted to get in here and get a story for you guys before we get straight into pizza, wings, and all of that crazy stuff. Okay, go Chiefs, go 49ers. You take your pick, whatever you want to do. That's up to you guys, okay? But there is a story here that I wanted to share with you guys. I mean, this is pretty crazy. And I have a couple questions that I wanted to bring up to you guys. I wanted to ask you guys about this, okay? Because, you know, as we wait on the Adam Montgomery trial to get back up and running starting tomorrow, as we wait for more information about the Chiefs fans found gone in the backyard, you know, that case that we've been covering quite a bit as of late, and all the other cases that we got going on in this crazy world that we have. This one just popped up last night and grabbed my attention last night, and I felt compelled to talk about it. And of course, spark some questions for you guys, because this is not the first time this has ever happened. We have heard stories like this before. Okay? We have heard stories like this before. So we got to talk about this. This is kind of crazy, y'all. I'm going to be real. I'm shook. And we got to talk about this, okay? But anyway, before we get into everything, before we get into our conversation, please hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on Facebook right now, okay? Also, if you're watching on YouTube, crush that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. That would really mean a lot. Don't forget to crush that follow button on my Facebook page, okay? Follow me on my Facebook page, please. Follow me on all my social medias, The Pascal Show, one word. That's X, aka Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. The Pascal Show, one word. You can find me over there and all that as well, okay? And if you want to support the channel, hit that join button down below, okay? Become a member. That would be dope as hell. That would be greatly appreciated as well. Or you can support the channel by just simply joining my Patreon. It's in the ticker down below. You see the thing that's moving that way right now down below. Go over there and support if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. Or go check out my merch page, pascalmerch.com. All right. Anyway, we got to get into this conversation. We can't be here for a super long time, but we're here for a conversation, and we need to have that conversation as soon as possible, because this is wild to me. This is a wild story. And and I know a lot of you guys are already coming in and putting in your 2 cents. Like DJ is already saying, I heard of the woman in the refrigerator trope, but this is unacceptable. Right? I mean, come on. We've heard all kinds of stories, right? Like I said, this is not the first time we've heard a story like this. And there's other things that I'm going to ask. And I don't know, maybe it's something that's going to give people or this woman some ideas as far as a defense for a reason for her team to defend her. If she does see, if she goes through a whole trial process, you see what I'm saying? I'm very compelled by this, because like I said, this is not the first time we've heard a story like this. In fact, we have another story that's just like this that happened about 14 years ago or something like that. Maybe even more than that. I got the math wrong, I'm sure. But we're even going to go down memory lane on another story about another baby that actually survived the same situation. So we got to talk about this. Like, and I'm going to say this right now. I got to use a lot of code words, unfortunately, because we're talking about littles, bad things happening to littles. And so, like, as you see right now, I'm already saying code words as we get into this conversation. So just ride with me when we are going into this. This is crazy. Okay. And yeah, S-dubs. Trust me, I don't like talking about this either, but this is a conversation that needs to be had. Regardless, if it ain't going to be me talking about it, somebody else will too, okay? But I do want to talk about this because this compels me to say something about this, okay? So there will be code word city like a mug, unfortunately. But we now know, okay, that there is a Missouri mom that has been charged with putting her little one in an oven. And of course, this baby loses its life because this mother mistakes the oven for a crib. Now, the person I'm talking about, just so we can get into some things and get into this conversation, her name is Mariah Thomas from Kansas City. It's interesting that we've been having a lot of Kansas City stories, or at least that big story that's going on in Kansas City right now. Now we got the Super Bowl going on in with the Kansas City Chiefs. And now we got this woman right now, Kansas City, doing this to her own 1-month-old child. Okay. Now, of course, she's being charged with the endangering the welfare of a child. Okay. And this happened Friday after this baby was found or pronounced unalive at the scene. Okay. Now, of course, all of us are shocked. We are all shocked. I'm shocked. I know that people have been tweeting and sharing this story because they're like, who would do this? How could this actually happen? And I'm quite curious about this as well, right? Who could actually do something like this, and why would they do something like this? And again, we're not here to try to justify her actions or anything of that sort. You won't hear me trying to justify her ever in life, okay? You don't do this to your little ones. You don't do this to anybody for that matter, okay? Grown or youngins, doesn't matter. You just don't do this, right? Okay. Hopefully we're all on the same page, and if we're not, you might need to go and talk to somebody, a professional, as quickly as possible. But let's get into this article, okay? Like I said, this is absolutely shocking, mind-blowing, heartbreaking, etc. I mean, you could think of you run out of words on a situation like this. This little girl, za'riah May, if I'm correct, was only 1 month old. Only 1 month old. And I also want to say this too, and of course, full on warning. This little girl was put into an oven that was on. So it wasn't like this mother just put the baby in the oven and it was cold. The oven was on. Just so that you know. Okay, let's get into this. Let's get into this conversation. An infant in Missouri passed when her mother mistakenly put her down for a nap in an oven. Mariah Thomas of Kansas City was charged with endangering the welfare of a child. Court records do not yet show whether Thomas has an attorney, and no phone listing for her could immediately be found. Police responded Friday afternoon to a report of an infant not breathing. A probable cause statement said responders found this little one with apparent burns. The child was pronounced unalive at the scene. The statement said responders were told by a witness that the mother put the child down for a nap and accidentally placed her in the oven instead of the crib. The statement did not offer any explanation about how that mistake was made, saying, "We acknowledge the gruesome nature of this tragedy, and our hearts are weighted by the loss of this precious life." Jackson County prosecuting attorney Baker said in a statement, "We trust the criminal justice system to respond appropriately to these awful circumstances." Now, this is just a small clip or a small piece. We got a couple other things we're going to look at, but let me just say this again. You're saying that this woman put a baby down, put them into a kitchen appliance that was on, and didn't realize that it wasn't a crib and it was an oven. That don't make no sense, okay? To me, that doesn't make any sense. All right, we're going to look at a couple other things. Like I said, we got a couple articles we're going to be looking at and all that. But again, still a mind-blowing thing that is actually happened to a little baby girl. Okay? And someone already said this, and this is what I was going to ask a little bit later. Actually, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to wait. Okay? Because I'm wondering about her mental state, etc. Right? And then the other thing is I know somebody else asked this. Who called 911? Who actually was compelled to call the police to show up? Did she call the police herself? Or was it a neighbor? Was it a family member? Also, I agree, Carrie. I mean, see, this is the part that doesn't make sense to me either. You actually you do the act of opening an oven. A crib is open. You don't have to lift the lid or anything. You put you gently put that little newborn into the crib. Piece of cake, right? So you're doing the act of putting this, and this child ain't a chicken. It ain't a turkey. So what made you think to put the baby in such a place? Make it make sense, right? But let's continue on. We got more to talk about. We got more stories. We got more in this story we got to get into. Okay. And again, she put the baby there thinking that kitchen appliance was a crib. Okay. And there's so many questions I got, but I don't want to say anything as of yet. Okay. But of course, she's being accused, the mother, okay, Mariah Thomas, is being accused of turning the oven on to bake. Okay. Her newborn daughter. Okay. And again, for mistakenly thinking that it was a crib. And we already know what charges she's looking at. This little baby girl, Za'riah May, was found in unalive with some serious wounds. Okay. Cops were called to the mom's Kansas City home to reports of a child not breathing on Friday. The day after Thomas's birthday. When they arrived, they found an infant in really bad shape. Okay. And of course, just in really bad shape. I can't even say these graphic things. A devastated friend of Thomas's told Daily Mail, the article I'm reading right here, that Za'riah was a very bubbly baby who was smiling all the time. Again, let me remind you, she was only 1 month old. She also suggested Thomas's mental health may have played a role in the tragedy. This is a part that I really want to talk about. The mental health of Mariah. We're going to look at that in a second. Mariah had mental issues from what I know and didn't have the mindset of an adult. She thought like a child, the friend said, adding she last talked to the mom on Monday. Za'riah's grandmother told police she received a call. Za'riah's grandfather told police he received a call from her mom around 1 p.m. on Friday, in which she told him something was wrong with the baby and he needed to return home immediately. So apparently she was living with extended family as well. So I'm wondering, where were they when this whole thing went down, and why didn't they see the act of her putting said baby girl in this kitchen appliance? That's what I'd like to know. Because again, I'll say this again. Grandfather was told police he received a call from her mom. So from so there's 3 generations here, 4 generations if you really think about it. Grandfather, mother, Mariah, I'm sorry, and then Za'riah. That's 4 generations right there, all living under one roof. The same roof that I just showed you guys a second ago, which I'm going to show you guys right here again. So they were all living in this house, allegedly. 4 generations under one roof. If I'm reading that correctly. Okay. So let's continue on. So he received a phone call from mama, from his daughter, saying that her daughter did something and that her granddaughter, his great granddaughter, is in really, really bad shape. So let's continue on. 4 generational home, four generations. Okay. 4 generations. Just so you guys know. In totality, with Za'riah going all the way up to granddad or great granddad, right? But see, that doesn't make any sense. Hold on. Sorry. Za'riah's grandfather. I'm so sorry. So it's just 3. Sorry, 3. Okay. So it's just 3. My bad. Let me correct that. Okay. So Za'riah's grandfather, okay, got the phone call, okay, from her mom. So I'm sorry. So from his actual daughter. My bad. Let me correct that again. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. All right. But still, Za'riah's grandfather received a call from her mom. Okay. So I don't know. I'm wondering if the mom called 911 first and then called grandpa or, daddy, or if she called her own dad first before she called 911. But no matter what, she said, I need you to return home quickly, immediately. On returning home immediately. See, this is why I hate they do all this crazy stuff. Anyway, with these typos. On returning home, I guess. Oh, on returning, comma, the home immediately began to smell smoke and found Za'riah gone in the crib. So she literally took the baby out and then put the baby in the crib. I'm assuming called Pops and then called 911. Or either way, okay? Either one, right? But still very, 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 very bad, okay? She then told her dad, Za'riah's grandfather, okay, that she accidentally put her in the oven, according to court filings. Za'riah was discovered by police in a car seat inside her home with apparent thermal injuries on various parts of her body. She was wearing a bodysuit over a diaper, which appeared to have melted onto it, which was very dirty, possibly burned. A charred baby blanket was also discovered and taken as evidence. Again, this is the outside of the house. Thomas was transported to police headquarters for an interview where she invoked her Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. So if she's got the mentality of a child, she at least knew to plead the fifth. Interesting, right? But then she still consented to detectives obtaining a blood draw and accessing her phone data. So they went and did a drug test. Make sure she wasn't out her mind on some sort of party favor, right? So her social media presents her as a doting mom who referred to her daughter as her quote unquote princess. In one Facebook post, she states her desire to be quote unquote the best mother I can be to my beautiful daughter. But in one haunting post made 6 weeks before the tragedy, Thomas complained that nobody was looking out for her. She says, mother effers claim they my friend, but don't never check up on me or Za'riah, she wrote on January 20th. She is currently being held in Jackson County Detention Center. Now, what's interesting about this, okay, because there's a lot to dissect here, and it's still extremely devastating, heartbreaking. It really angers me because if she is known to have if she is known to have mental health issues, the mental capacity of a child, and all that, I wonder one thing. I wonder if there was any signs of aggression or anything of that sort before or even during the life of Za'riah. Okay, before she was born and during the time that she was alive. And in her life, Za'riah's life was very short-lived. It was only 1 month. It's 4 weeks, y'all. It's only 4 weeks. Only 4 weeks. So it does make me wonder, were there any telling signs? Were there any, you see what I'm saying? Was there any heads up? Was there any, but then again, I get it. We can't know everybody like that. Just because somebody has mental health issues does not mean that they are have a violent streak in them or anything of that sort. But it is an ongoing question that I guess I have in my own mind, right? And then, of course, it makes you wonder, should that be a huge factor in what happened here with little Za'riah? Remember, somebody said it in the chat already, but I was going to ask it anyway as well. This is the reason why I said I have questions. Could there be postpartum psychosis going on? Could there be some sort of psychosis in general going on here? And could that hold up in court? That's one of the questions I have. Because you got to remember, there have been stories like this before. Let me show you what I mean. There was a story of a young girl. She survived. She survived this act. But when she was a baby, she was set to broil. I'm not kidding. Little girl. Obviously, when this article came out, it was in 2016. She was a teenager at that time. So obviously, she's older now. Okay. But this teen, of course, is apologizing, or not apologizing, accepting, or not apologizing, forgiving the mother who actually put her in an oven. And I can't show you the footage, because there's footage out here. If you just look up Melissa Wright, if you just look up Melissa Wright, you'd be surprised at what this woman, this mother, did to her own child when this child was only a little girl. It's pretty insane. But again, something like this did happen. This woman is, if I'm correct, I think she served 13 years. 13 years and let's see. I think it was about 13 years and 9 months or something like that. Yep. Wright has served 13 years and 9 months of her sentence. It's long enough for Wright to be separated from her family, so on and so forth. But nonetheless, this is a story, and I'm sorry about my camera. My camera's tripping for some weird reason, but this actually really did happen. And again, this is not a story, or this is not an act that is, we should still be shocked and surprised about it, but this is a story, and this is a situation that has happened multiple times, okay? And it's frustrating. Like Regina just said, yes, this has happened in other cases. Yes. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, since it's happened in other cases, we should get used to it. We should just fold our arms and just, sit there and go, hey, these things happen. It is what it is. Let's move on. Next story. No, we definitely should be reacting the exact same way we are reacting right now, which is absolute shock and horror. Because again, this should not happen to a 1-month-old child. The day after her own mother's birthday, this little girl loses her life because the mama is saying she didn't realize that the oven was not a crib. Okay, let me just say this. Somebody make that make sense for me. The other thing too is, and man, DJ, you got it. How come no one is asking about the baby daddy? Thank you. I was just about to say that. And I saw the corner of my eye. I'm like, damn, you guys are smart today. You guys are smart every day. But you guys are smart today. Okay. All right. But yeah, it does make you wonder why, where baby daddy? Now, the thing is just because he wasn't there does not mean it's his fault or he's the bad guy or he should be thrown under the bridge or under the bus. Okay. But at the same time, where is the father? Then I also wonder, was there anybody else in the house when grandfather went off to do whatever he was doing? If he was off to work or whatever, while Mariah was watching after her baby girl, was there anyone else with her? Because if you sit here and say, oh, she has a history of mental health issues, what kind of mental health issues are they? And is it a mental health issue that you'd feel completely 110% okay with her watching over her own child? I mean, think about that for a second. If you know that somebody is dealing with some serious mental health issues, do you instantly go, okay, everything's Gucci, just let them watch the baby on their own? I mean, do you do that? Because last I checked, that's a hell to the no. Right? So it does make me wonder what the heck is going on here and why this happened. But again, could she have gone through some sort of psychosis? But this also goes back to the other question about her mental health issues. Does she see things? Does she have hallucinations? What kind of medications is she on? Could those things make her think or do things differently? What is she like when there's lack of sleep in her day? Because it's a 1-month-old baby. Let me tell you something. I got a 6-month, 6-month-old baby girl right now. Okay. We ain't sleeping. Sleep is like, that is a whole other, like, what is that like? Rest? A nap during the day? What is that like, guys? Because I don't know what that feels like anymore. You see what I'm saying? And yes, trust me, I don't know about you guys, but I have definitely put a coffee mug, or not a coffee mug, a coffee pot, or at least tried to put a coffee pot in a refrigerator. I'm not kidding. Like, seriously, as I'm drinking this coffee, pour myself a cup, opening up the refrigerator and putting that doggone thing in the refrigerator and going, what am I doing? That has happened. But that is an inanimate object, right? That is not the child. Okay? And I'd for damn sure know the difference between an oven and a crib, and a baby and food. You see what I'm saying? So it does make you wonder what else was going on here with her mentally that would cause her to do what she did. Then also on top of that, would that be, or would that have weight? Would that have any weight in court? Someone said postpartum psychosis in the chat. I can't find it right now, but that's exactly what I was going to ask you guys in the show. Could that possibly be a factor in this situation? Could it just be the fact that she was sleep deprived? But everybody's sleep deprived. If you're a parent, you don't know what sleep is anymore. Sleep don't exist anymore. All you know is coffee, 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 Red Bulls, and whatever. Okay? But it's a question nonetheless that we should be asking, right? Especially in this situation. Again, not justifying what she did at all, but I'm wondering, would she be able to use that? Would she be able to use that in court? The other reason why I say that is because I don't know if you guys remember this particular case, but there was a mother, okay, that took the life of her, and this is a few months back. Yeah, it's a few months back. Okay. Not a few months, but well over half a year ago. But this happened, okay, in if I'm correct, Massachusetts or something like that. Lindsay Clancy. Does anybody remember the name Lindsay Clancy? Now, Lindsay Clancy took the life of 3 of her children before jumping out of a window or jumping off the roof, right? And now, I mean, at that time, I don't know what that case and how that's gone so far. I have not seen any of it, okay? But she is saying that she was driven by psychosis because of a cocktail of anxiety pills and postpartum medication as well, right? Now, I'm wondering, could it be, right, that same kind of situation where you got to remember, if Mariah has mental health issues, what kind of medication is she taking? Is it bad to take when you're sleep deprived? Will it have any sort of effects, maybe of psychosis, when you're sleep deprived and you're also taking this medication? And trust me, let me just say this, the first month is tough as hell, especially if you're not equipped and ready for it. When you bring a baby into the world, you ain't sleeping. You ain't got time for nothing. It's baby. Full hands on baby, baby, baby. Okay. And especially to you mothers, especially you mothers who are nursing. Okay. And when I mean nursing, I mean breastfeeding. Let me tell y'all, man, I salute y'all. Let me just do this for you mothers out there, just in general. Okay. Okay. Because y'all ain't sleeping. I mean, we ain't sleeping. The guys ain't sleeping either, but we get a little bit more than y'all. I'm going to keep it a buck, okay? I'll keep it a full buck. All right? So shout out to all you mothers out there. But I know the struggles and I know how painful and stressful and exhausting it can be, especially when you are nursing. And you got to do it every couple hours sometimes. Shoot, a lot of times. You ain't sleeping. Sleep gone. But I know for a fact, a lot of y'all will know the difference between a crib and an oven. Let's keep it a buck. Let's also remember, you go in to the kitchen. This is what she did. She turned on the oven and then proceeded to put that beautiful bundle of joy into that kitchen appliance. This is not a thing where, and I don't know what kind of crib she got. Okay. I don't know if she got a crib that vibrates or does something weird, something crazy, or has a mobile on the top where you got to turn it on or whatever. I don't know what she got. But where would you think that by turning it on to bake, setting it to a degree, and then putting the baby into the oven, where is the sense in that? That's a lot of movement. That's a lot of choreography. You had all that time to realize, holy crap, this is an oven. Man, Mariah, you lost your damn mind. The crib's over here, right? But that's not what happened here. Oh, let's not forget. She opened the front of the oven too. So there's that act too. And then, see what I'm saying? So I keep wondering, could there be psychosis here because of lack of sleep, maybe the medications that she's allegedly on, and all that? I just have questions, right? But I will go back. I want to circle back to this part, okay? That was said by the friend. Let's just look at that part one more again. Here it is. So it also suggested that she has mental health. Okay, her mental health may have played a role in this tragedy. She has mental health issues, from what I know, and I didn't understand or didn't have the mindset of an adult. She thought like a child. Now, let me just say this, and again, I'm not trying to put any type of blame on the parents, the granddad, and whoever else was living in that house. But if you know that your daughter, has mental health issues, how did this actually happen? Why wasn't why wasn't she being watched a little bit more? Like I said, not trying to put blame on anyone, but I'm wondering, because it could have been a thing where the grandfather, you can't be around them 24/7. And of course, clearly, what if he had to go and just get milk and bread? What if it was a grocery? What if he had to run and go get groceries? You see what I'm saying? Because they don't tell us where granddad went. All we know is that he was not home when this tragedy transpired. And then he got his ass home. But if you know that mental health issues are a factor in a situation, it would make you think maybe, just maybe, there'd be somebody there to help her each step of the way, especially during this very difficult part of this little girl, Za'riah's life. That first month is tough. It is not easy. Again, you're not sleeping. You're bubbling with excitement and anxiety and nerves, because any little thing, there's that fear. Any little thing that you do could just, the littlest mistake, they're so delicate, right? So it does make me wonder why that actually went the way it did. And then the other part that really drives me crazy is the other factors in here again, too. And I just want to circle back to these things again. He came back home. When he came back home, he began to smell smoke. He found Za'riah in the crib. Obviously, the little girl had lost her soul, had left her body already, right? But then when police showed up, we already know about the apparent markings. I'm just going to say that for now. Markings that were all over her body, which obviously show that she was in an oven, okay? Or that she was near something very, very hot, for lack of a better term. But then they said that the police discovered her in a car seat inside her home with obviously these injuries all over her body. So I'm wondering, who put her in a car seat? Why would they put her in a car seat? That doesn't make any sense. So that doesn't make any sense either. Someone just said something, and I appreciate them saying this. Hold on, let me just pull this up. Diamond, I appreciate your comment. I've had bipolar psychosis. I leave the house to not do harm. There are ways to not unalive kids. Yeah, there's got to be ways around this kind of stuff. But again, what kind of mental health issues does she actually have? Right? I think that would be a big piece. If there is psychosis, if there's some sort of bipolar disorder, if it's schizophrenia, I mean, any of those things, anything that was going on, what is it? They say that she had a mentality, or she thinks like a child. She doesn't have the mindset of an adult. She thinks like a child. But at the same time, this is the only pushback I say, okay? This is the only pushback I got, all right? Only pushback I got. Okay, I'm going to say it. if you know, okay, she knows the difference between right and wrong, right? She's been alive this entire time. She was able to have and bring life into the world. So you're telling me that hmm? So she knows the difference between like she knows what an oven does. She knows if she touches something, that's hot, it'll burn her. She knows that if she puts her hand in water, it'll make her wet, right? Like there's things that like there's a lot of common sense. So even though has the mindset of a child, she knows that she brought a baby into the world. She knows what the difference between life and death is, right? I mean, I would assume. Who the baby daddy? She had to have had a conversation with somebody to be able to bring a baby into the world. You see what I'm saying? So I keep wondering when they say, "Oh, she has mental health issues," she doesn't have the mindset of an adult. Well, so what are you saying? Just that she has the mindset of a 3 or 4-year-old? And if that's the case, if it's that level, that severity of mental health issues, then why is she being left alone with a newborn baby to begin with? And then, of course, it does make you wonder. Maybe she's, I hate to say this, but what is the dynamics within that house? Who is the baby daddy? How did who is the father of this child? How did this child come to life? Right? Because if she has the mindset of a child, you see what I'm saying? Like, do the math. Is she a victim as well of something heinous and terrible? I have questions. Okay. And I'm just exercising all the questions. There's no right answer here because this is all because of the information that we have and that we know of so far. Right. But still, no matter what, this whole thing is absolutely heartbreaking to hear. So I got a news clip I want to share with you guys. Okay. Just blows my mind. But actually, before we go into that, let me get these super chats because I know I got a bunch of you guys were sharing a lot, and I appreciate that. Okay, really, I do. Mimi, thank you so much for the 2. I appreciate it. At work, love you all. Sorry, I'm just one listener here. Oh, okay. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mimi. S Dubs, thank you so much for gifting 1, 2, and 3 people. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me get this one too. Black Witter, thank you so much. Appreciate it for gifting another membership. I really do appreciate it. You guys are very, very, very giving on a Super Bowl Sunday. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Mimi, thank you so much for the 95. I appreciate it. Mimi, again, thank you so much for the 2, just over 500 and just over 100. Please and thank you for a love. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Yes, please hit that like button down below. Okay. That would really, really mean a lot. Let's get it past 500 likes. Okay. I know this is a tough one. It's not the easiest conversation to have. Okay. But it's a conversation that we need to have nonetheless, because again, there are other stories like this, right? And it does still make you wonder how much could she walk away, or not walk away, but could she get a lesser sentence because of saying psychosis, because of her mental health, etc. Right? But again, I'm still wondering, what is her mental health? What is the mental health issues that she actually has? That's one piece I'm still wondering about. Let's get into this. Hollywood, thank you so much for being a member for the past 25 months. I appreciate that. Shoot, over 2 years. That's a long time, man. Thank you so much. I can't see how anyone makes a mistake like this at all. Just no way. I agree. I just don't get it either. You know, I get making small mistakes and just that's what happens when you're a parent. And that's what happens when you're sleep deprived. Those things do happen. Mistakes happen. It's normal, but they're minor. The little bit, the tiny things, right? They're not putting a baby in an oven. It's just not that, y'all. It's just not. Okay? It's just not. Never heard anything like that before. That's a new one for me. Okay. Well, I mean, I've heard it before, but still, it's still a new one for me. You know what I'm saying? Because you still go, how do you do that? How does one actually do that? Mang, how do you do that? But moving on. Charlie Miller, thank you so much for being a member for the past 19 months. Damn. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I'm sick of this era of excuses, whether it's mental health for parents putting child in ovens or it's post-vid for children bad behavior. Yeah. Yeah. Let's keep it real. I mean, clearly there's been a lot of stuff that it's like, wow, you can't lean on this all the time, or you can't lean on that for everything, not all the time, because there's other things like I do believe in somebody having a mental break. I do believe in those things actually happening. But for everything, I mean, I feel like it's, case by case basis in a way. But I do agree, you can't lean on all these things like, oh, because of the lockdown, this is what happened. And my kid just doesn't know how to act right. No, I mean, that's part of maybe how you raised your kid, man. I'm just saying. Okay. That's it, so I do feel you on that, Charlie Miller. I do appreciate the members chat. Okay. Mimi, again, thank you so much for the 95. And then again, Mimi, again, thank you so much for the the 150 Swiss franc. I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. That's awesome. Thank you guys. Okay. But again, can she lean on that? Her mental health? Can they try the argument of some sort of postpartum psychosis? Could she lean on, I was sleep deprived? Literally. Let's not forget the conversation that we had just a few weeks ago. Remember the woman who smoked some of that loud? Remember when she smoked some of them trees and she took the life of the guy that she was dating? They were only a few weeks into a relationship, just getting to know each other. It was all cute and dandy, so on and so forth. And then he's like, hey, try this stuff. And she goes, okay, I don't feel it. And he's like, oh, you don't feel it? I got something better for you, girl. He goes out, gets his, water pipe, his bong, and tells her to rip it, right? So she does. Next thing you know, she's on top of him, attacking him with multiple knives. And then now that girl's out free because they're saying it was cannabis induced psychosis. Somewhere on this planet, someone came up with that and said, yep, that's what we're going to use. It's because of that weed. It's because of that Mary Jane. We're going to use that Mary Jane. I love you, Mary Jane. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to use that as an excuse on why this young man is no longer on this planet. We're going to devastate this family, and we're not going to let this family get justice, the rightful justice that they deserve, because of that Mary Jane. That's a real story. That just happened a few months ago. Real talk. It happened a few months ago, babies. And she walking. She's out here breathing this freedom air. Real talk. So, if you could use that, can this mother do the same? I mean, I'm sure she's not going to get the same type of legal help, but at the same time, that happened for that girl. Crazy. Crazy. But I do think if situations were on the other foot, if situations were different, that girl that, smoked the trees and did what she did, trust me, she would not be free. She'd be locked up. She'd be locked up. The judge most likely be like, you need to put that. Nah, bro. we ain't talking about that. We ain't using that one. You could set that over on the side for now. Okay. Pretty crazy. But let me share with you guys this video. It's short. Okay. But again, this came straight out of Kansas City. Oh, actually, before I go into this, because I'm not going to be on for very long, but I wanted to ask you guys something. Actually, I'm going to put it in as a poll real quick. Let me see this. How do I say this? Let me see. Yeah, let me try it. This question, hopefully this question makes sense. I'm just going to put it out there, okay? I'm just going to put it out there. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a case that's been percolating a little bit. There's a firefighter and his two fiancées that were found gone in his home within 4 years of each other. He had two different fiancées, okay? That's all I'm going to say. So it's pinned to the top of the chat or over there in the family chat. So go check it out. Vote. Let me know what you think. Let me know if that's something that you're interested in me looking up or, talking about and bringing into the conversation. Because, that one I think would be maybe something interesting. But the thing is firefighter hasn't caught any charges, by the way, not at all. So I think that's very interesting. And I see a bunch of y'all in here. I know a lot of y'all who aren't going to be here or who are watching the replay later, like on Sunday night or, Monday morning. I know you guys are getting ready, geared up for the football game. I know a lot of y'all probably busy cooking and getting your ribs together and, making your chili. Nobody makes the chili like I do. We all got our friend that got that chili. Okay. And if you don't, you need to find a friend that does. Okay. But still interesting, this story. Okay. Nonetheless. So please go up there, vote. Let me know your thoughts. All right. And it's okay, Amy, if you don't watch the Super Bowl. I know a lot of girls are going to be watching it just because, T Swizzle is going to be on camera, I'm sure, a whole bunch. And especially if they win, cameras are not even going to be looking at no one's going to give a damn about Mahomes. They're going to be running after Travis Kelce, trying to see if he gets his post-game victorious kiss with Taylor Swift. That's all people care about, No, I'm kidding. Football fans give a damn about the game. No one gives a damn. Football fans don't give a damn about Taylor Swift with this situation, but it is bringing new fans to the sport and actually bringing people together. I saw a commercial that I thought was really kind of sweet, right? Where a Taylor Swift fan and a football fan dad like we're actually spending time together and enjoying the game together. So I guess there's a win-win situation in this situation. So enjoy it. Enjoy the game. Let me know what you guys are like, what y'all looking forward to, like eating not just the game, because I know a lot of y'all are going to be like Niners or Chiefs. You know what I mean? But what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on what you're looking forward to? Is it the wings? Is it just the beer? Is it the pizza? You know, is it your friend's famous chili? Whatever it is, let me know. Is it the ribs? Do you guys go all out? Are there ribs being like smoked right now? Oh yeah, let's not forget about Ursher. Or I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, I'm really looking forward to that because that guy is ready. He's been doing basically a halftime show. Shoot, 8 shows a week in Vegas, so he is primed and ready. Okay, so that's funny that I just said Chili, and yeah, Usher. If you don't know who Chili is, then we can't talk. Okay, but let me share this video with you guys really quick. Okay. Somebody said there for who said that? There for Nicole B just said there for the cute guy friends. Okay. Hey, if you single, shoot, enjoy, right? If that's the place to find a new prospect, then have at it, baby. Have at it. Let's take a look at this.
Gruesome story out of Kansas City this morning, and a warning, these details are disturbing. A mother is accused of killing her 1-month-old baby girl by putting the child in an oven. Mariah Thomas is facing child endangerment charges and other charges as well. First responders say a witness told them the mother went to put the infant down for a nap but accidentally put her in the oven instead of her crib. Police arrested Thomas on Friday and prosecutors officially filed charges yesterday.
Like, I'm still trying to understand how one could actually do something like this and say, oh yeah, I put her down for a nap and then realized later that crib was not actually a crib. It was an actual kitchen appliance. I'm still trying to understand that. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that. Okay. I am still trying to wrap my mind around that because that does not make any sense. Okay. But again, it'll be interesting to see how this develops and what comes from it as far as what she says. She allegedly is, pleading the fifth. Okay. So she knows well enough not to talk to police without some sort of legal representation. She knows at least not to plead the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. She knows to use the fifth. She knows that. So when I sit there, and this is why I keep running back to this. Okay. This is the reason why I keep running back to this piece. All right. When it says mental health issues, and she doesn't have that mindset of an adult. She thinks like a child. But then how would she know to plead the fifth? Like I said, what mental capacity does this woman actually have? If it is the mental capacity of a 12-year-old, okay. But at the same time, a 12-year-old knows a lot about things, okay? A 12-year-old knows a lot about things at 12. Now, if it's the 3 or 4-year-old or 5-year-old or 6-year-old, that's another conversation. But why would she know to plead the fifth if she has the mental capacity of a 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, year old child? Like I said, something's not mathing for me, at least for me. Okay. See, Nicole B, even a 5-year-old can feel that overheat. Yes. Right. She pleaded the fifth. And again, like I said, I know that, mental capacity of a child is, that's very vast. Right. But at a certain age, hot is hot, cold is cold. Life is life. Death is death. Oh, sharp objects are sharp objects and can hurt you. I'm wondering if she was even able to operate machinery or operate a car, drive a car. If she's able to do all those things, her mental capacity is not of a child. It's just not. So that's why I'm saying, I don't know. That claim is that's a pretty strong claim and a pretty strong statement to put out there, because then I instantly go, well, if this baby was made consensually, let me just say that. All right. She knows what a date is. She knows what men are. She knows what procreation is. She knows the act of that act of making babies. So how much of that is really 110%? Okay. So that's why I'm saying math ain't mathin'. Okay. It just doesn't make sense. Now, could it be somebody said she was high, sounds like right there. Now, if she was, I mean, that sounds probable. Okay. But then it's like, okay, could there possibly be a situation where sleep depravity has a role in this? Like I said before, I've done some weird things when I was really just beyond, when I was just pushed beyond exhaustion, right? I've done that, but I've never done what she's done. But I'm just saying I've done stupid things like that, putting the toothpaste, like the actual tube of toothpaste somewhere and not realizing that I, took it with me out of the bathroom and brought it into the bedroom or something like that. You see what I'm saying? Like I've done some stupid thing, but it's all inanimate objects. It has nothing to do with the life or death of my own child. So it just doesn't, like I said, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Okay. I've heard stories of people falling asleep, accidentally while they're holding their baby or anything of that sort. But those are small things. Those are small things, right? So, and that's the other thing. Jean just said this too. And yes, that's the other thing. She didn't hear no cries, no screams, no nothing. She didn't hear anything. Where was she? Did she go off to take a nap too? I mean, I'm assuming she went off to take a nap. Okay. But you didn't hear the baby screaming, crying, etc. I'm telling you right now, my kid can tear the roof off a place. Okay. And we're right next to her. She's sitting in our lap and we're like, baby, we're right here. We ain't down the street. We right here in front of you. I'm holding you like this. Why are you screaming like this? Damn. You can melt these screams can melt the paint off these doggone walls. Dag nab. So you tell me she didn't hear any of that? And for a fact that baby's lungs, you know what I'm saying? Okay. It's pretty serious. We all know it. Us parents, we all know it. Okay. Pretty serious. So you didn't hear any of that? Especially if the baby is in, God forbid, pain? What that baby endured during that situation before her passing? You didn't hear any of that? That's just messed up. I'm sorry. That's actually a really good question too. Wow, this is why I bring it to the table, and then you guys turn on your true crime brains. It's like, you know what I mean? Is this just on? That's a good question right there too. Blam, right there. Was she even alive before the baby was put in the oven? That's another good question too. Natasha from downtown. I love the guy in the background of this thing. He's like, yeah. You know what I mean? But I do appreciate that. That's actually a good question. But that baby also was moved to different places. Baby was in the oven, taken out, put into the crib. Then the baby was put into a car seat before cops showed up. Why? See, that doesn't make sense to me either. So I'm wondering if something happened. Maybe something could have happened before the baby was put into the oven. And then I mean, but then again, this is when, tinfoil hats get turned, get put on, and we start going, well, maybe the mistake happened and she was trying to cover it up, and she threw the baby in the oven and then, put it in there for a little bit and then took the baby out and then is saying, oh, I was sleep deprived and I didn't know what I was doing. I had a mental break. You know what I mean? As an excuse. I don't know. But like I said, that's when things get really, really messy. And that's when it's just speculation. Let's find out. Hopefully we find out as far as the autopsy, etc., on this particular one, because I'm curious. Okay. And she did take a blood test. The mom did take a blood test. Okay. We need the toxicology report. Yes, I'd like to see what was in her system as well, if there was anything in her system. But again, if she does have a history of mental health issues, that could be a part of it here as well. But I'm curious as to what happened to the little one before she was put into the oven. Because, of course, at face value, police are going to look and go, well, that's what happened. Moving on. But once they go and do an autopsy report and all that, maybe even a toxicology report for the child too, we're going to find out more, because that autopsy report at least will give us the same story or a new set of clues on what possibly happened before or during the time that she was in the oven. But yeah, the other thing too, let me say this too. She knew how to turn on an oven. Like I said, child mind-like capacity, but she knew how to operate these certain things. She clearly knows how to do things. So like I said, and I'm not trying to sit here and say that she's just some blubbering, mess of a person with no mental capacity of her own. Clearly, she knows how to use a phone. She knows how to make phone calls, etc. I'm not sitting here saying that she's completely like just oblivious to normal days of life, but this does not make sense. But then it could just be a woman who couldn't handle the pressures of being a new mom, and she just wanted to get rid of the responsibility. That could very well be it too. It's terrible, y'all. Okay. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But like I said, when we find out more information, we'll talk. But I wanted to bring this up because I still just don't see how this can even happen. I just don't see a coffee mug, or a coffee pot, a tube of toothpaste, putting your socks in the freezer on accident or something stupid like that. Those things do happen. But with a child, that's a child. I'm sorry. It's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me. Anyway, guys, that's the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. Okay. I'll be watching the Super Bowl just like everybody else. If anything's popping off with that, if anything huge and controversial happens, we'll be here to talk about it for sure. Okay. But there are a lot of stories that I'm looking at, like the one I just asked you guys about, 230 votes, and you guys say, man, a landslide. 90, I'm going to round it up, 93% of y'all said yes to me talking about that. So talking about that firefighter thing. So we're going to talk. We're going to definitely talk, because there's a lot to talk about that one. And that one's suspicious as hell. Okay. I appreciate y'all for being here and watching the show with me and talking about this one. I know this one was really hard, especially with us talking about littles and all that. But of course, we do need to talk about these stories, unfortunately. Some days are going to be easy. Some days are going to be tough. It's just how the pendulum swings. Again, thank you so much for being here. Hit that like button down below. Don't forget to hit that reaction button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Crush that follow button on my Facebook page. That'd be greatly appreciated. Check out my Patreon. It's in the ticker going that way down below underneath me right now as we speak. Go and check out my merch page, pascalmerch.com. Please and thank you. Okay. Got some really great merch over there. Go check them out. Woo. And of course, don't forget to hit that Patreon, the join button down below if you want to become a member. Okay. All right. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Jane, thank you so much for saying that. You know, we're here to talk about everything, even the hard talk, even the hard conversations, unfortunately. But go enjoy the Super Bowl. Have a really great time. You know, I'm going to try my best to have a good time as well. Some people are saying go Niners, go Chiefs, just to be on the other side. No, I'm saying go Chiefs. Come on now. Go Chiefs. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see. It's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. But anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.